listening to Shelly Hack. I'm Mike Delaney, and be thankful you don't have to be me, and you are listening to SOVPOD. THE stands for the, and we are the SOV Podcast, covering every shot-on-video movie ever made. It's kind of like 80s all over again, but without My Favorite Year, or Platoon, or Driving Miss Daisy, and then plus a bunch of shit from the 90s. Joining me now, forever, and always is the hottest Brad in the solar system. Brad, from the back to the middle and around again, Henderson. Baby Brad, how are you, man?
You know, Mike, it is Friday morning, and I have a cup of joe, and I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm having the time of my life.
Oh, it's a dream. It is Friday. And like the Rebecca Black song before us, kicking in the front seat, sitting in the back seat. Brad, metaphorically speaking, which seat are you in this morning, the front or the back, baby?
You know, you pulled up to my house, and you had that smile on your face, and it just warmed my heart. And I said shotgun, but it didn't matter. I just wanted to be in that passenger seat with you, with my arm around you. Maybe my head fell down to your lap, kind of like when Tom Matthews does it and Jason Lives, and he just kind of stares at her crotch. That was kind of what I did today, and it was a beautiful, beautiful drive.
It was kind of like Roadhead, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You did suck my dick. Brad and I are together. I picked him up this morning at his house. We drove out, and we are recording live in beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana. Or, Brad, do they say it Nolans? How do they say it?
Nolans.
New Orleans? Nolans.
Nolans.
Say it again?
New Orleans. Nolans. Nolans.
Nolans. New Orleans? Nolans. Nolans. Whenever possible, we will record in the town of one of the features we are covering on the show. This week, we are covering the 1988 movie, The Last Slumber Party, shot in and around historic, how do you say it, Brad?
Nolans.
Nolans. It is currently 48 degrees with brilliant sunshine, but shit, my man, it is cold.
You need to come over here and warm me up.
we are together, sweetheart. We are keeping each other warm. Brad, what have you learned about Nolans since we got here, baby?
Well, you know, we had some time to kill before we actually, started the show. So, a few things we kind of already knew that, voodoo was a big thing here. This is kind of like voodoo capital of the world. Not only that, but also a lot of people play poker. So big gambling aspect around here before and after Katrina. Katrina made that obviously die down a little bit, but now they're banging again. And you could live on the streets in the city all night, all day. It is beautiful. But also another thing is that, did you know that New Orleans and the surrounding areas were sold to Napoleon at the beginning of the 19th century?
Whoa.
You know, both New Orleans and all the surrounding areas were sold to him, and it's also known, that's what is the Louisiana Purchase of 1803.
For tater tots? That Napoleon Dynamite?
No, Napoleon Bonaparte. So sorry. I should clarified. But it's also one of the reasons why the city became most of the important multicultural areas of the United States.
Look, man, I just think it's harder than fuck to find a good Popeyes out here in Louisiana, but that's all right, because everything else is banging, man. Hey,
banging.
But you said the thing about poker.
Yeah.
You said the thing about poker. Poker, we learned, Brad and I learned this together, poker is the #1 export out of New Orleans.
That is true. Everybody on the show now listening.
Voodoo. Yeah. All right, Brad. When are we leaving, baby?
I don't know. I think we should spend the weekend here. Maybe leave Sunday morning. Sunday evening, maybe.
Yeah. You are listening to us on January 5th, if you got this the day it came out. So if you are in the Nolans area, please hit us up. We are on Twitter at MikeD_Splat and at Brad, F. F stands for From the Back to the Middle and Around Again, and also Fuckworthy Henderson. So hit us up on Twitter if you want to hang out. We are indeed in New Orleans. We're not kidding around. This isn't a bit. We spent a lot of our podcast money on plane tickets to fly out to New Orleans. It's ill-advised, but we did it, and we think the gimmick will be worth it. We don't know. We're not sure. Brad, how do you feel?
I feel that we're going to go broke very, very quickly, but we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Because I'm going to be with you, and you're going to be with me.
Oh, I know. Roadhead. I love it. Before we jump into the movies we are covering today, which will be the first movies we ever cover on THE SOV POD. The THE stands for The, and we are the SOV Podcast. We are covering all shot on video films ever made. That's weird when you say shot on video and then you say film, but look, you know what we mean. We mean fucking movies.
Yeah.
Before we jump into our first two on this first episode, Brad and I, we discussed doing something a little different. You know, I'm thinking a little TBS 1995 bullshit, if you get my drift. Brad and I are talking about kind of like dinner and a movie, but without 4 courses. Brad, look, before we get into our first movie, which will be Blood Cult, what culinary delight would you pair with this film, Brad?
You know, Blood Cult is one of those films where we'll get into it further, of course, but it is, you know, the filmmakers were competent in making a film. You know, they actually used a tripod, they focused, they made it not have any lights, but it almost is very much like a police procedural film in a way. That said, I think you need to get something loud and bombastic, like, you know, maybe some killer nachos that Stuntman Mike has in Death Proof. I think that might be a good idea. The loudest possible food that that you can eat during this quiet movie.
It is, isn't it? I like the idea of those loud fucking nachos. Yeah, where you have to like suck the juices and the grease like off your fingers, and you're washing it down with just glasses of water or cerveza or whatever you know your drink is. I like that. I like that a lot, Brad.
But in all honesty, if you want, I would suggest if you're going to watch this film and in it all its glory, I think if you were going to get a serious meal, I would probably pick Tyson's Anytizers Honey Barbecue Flavor Boneless Wings. And that's wings, WYNGZ. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And you probably get those at Walmart or Publix. You know, I think Anytizers you can have anytime. Hence the name. So...
Brad, ask me what I would eat.
Well, I was about to do that. What culinary delight would you pick for this film?
Brad, ask me what I would eat.
What would you eat?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Hold on one second. Let me think about it. You know, when I was watching Blood Cult for like the third or fourth time, I don't know. But I started to think about Brad. I started to think about how it kind of reminded me of like if a bunch of Midwesterners were given a budget to go do a shot on video film for like BBC in the 80s. So I started to crave a full English. I think a full English breakfast, but I wouldn't wash it down with like a cup of coffee or tomato juice. I'm thinking like a Coors Light, like a CL Smooth.
Ooh.
You know?
Ooh.
Like a road soda.
Ooh, road sodas is definitely, on our introductory episode, you mentioned about road sodas, and I actually got to feel that and see that and do that on the trip here, driving around. Mike is the road soda king.
It's true. I drink and drive. You are our resident movie expert. Now, look, I know what you want to say. You want to say, no, Mike Delaney, you are the expert, man. You're an actor. You're a filmmaker. You have the SPLATHOUSE Podcast. You talk to filmmakers from all around, man. You write scripts. You know all these things. You have IMDb memorized. And yeah, Brad, no, it's true. But you, my friend, you are the expert. And on this show, THESOVPOD, the THE stands for the We Are the SOV Podcast. You, my friend, are the expert. Tell us about this first movie that we are going to be looking at, my friend.
How about if I get a little bit of history of when I first saw this movie?
Oh, I would love that. Can I touch myself?
Maybe just during the first few minutes, because I think you need to probably pause, because I'm going to finish you off later. My first experience with Blood Cult was renting it from a video store and watching it with my mother. And she was, when we turned it on, she knew, because she really doesn't know what shot on video was. It's just the look of the movie. And I noticed it right away. I was like, oh man, that's one of these movies. And she's like, oh my God, one of these again. And she slept through the entire movie pretty much. And I just kept on like trying to wake her up, like making noises, like putting my plate or my glass down loud so I could scare her to jump. But I was kind of into it, especially for the first few minutes. It picks up, it kind of dies down a little bit, but I remember watching it vividly with my mother because I was trying to not agitate her, but keep her awake through Blood Cult. So that was my first experience with the film. How about you, Mike D? What would you say about Blood Cult?
My first experience, actually, well, my first experience was just a few years ago. You know, I had heard about Blood Cult. I'd read certain things about it where, you know, in the history of Blood Cult, they claimed when it came out on VHS that it was like the first shot on video film. That's not true. We know that because that's 1982's Boarding House. But it was indeed the first direct-to-video film, which I think is historic and beautiful and should be celebrated. But yeah, I didn't see it until I got the VCI DVD about 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't have a great story. I probably just bought it and I probably just drank some beers and enjoyed it. I remember thinking, and we'll get to this, but I remember thinking that I wanted to remake it like right then and have Mark Borchardt from Coven. Coven sounds like oven. Coven. I wanted Mark Borchardt to play Joel in a remake of it. I kept seeing the dude who played Joel, and I kept thinking, I want Mark here right fucking now. But no, I don't have a great beautiful story about trying to wake my mother up from her drunk coma.
Yeah, she was drunk, and then she yeah. All right. Yeah, I think Mark would be a great choice, and probably get Mike Shank as the voiceover for the detective that constantly talks through the entire film. I think that might be a good addition too.
Mike Shank. I fucking love Mike Shank. Well, hey, we'll get to it later, but if Mike Shank played anybody, it would be the surgeon dad in The Last Slumber Party. If we're casting Mike Shank in one of these two, like that dad who's like, "Hey, honey, I love you. Don't you think your mom might want to go to bed soon?" That's Mike Shank.
Yeah,
I don't think he's in Blood Cult.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hey, man, when I'm right, I'm right. And here's what we're doing right now. We are jumping into 1985's Blood Cult. Brad, tell us about this movie.
For people that have not seen Blood Cult, you're in for a treat. I would not watch this movie super late at night. It would be probably better with friends. Like I said earlier, the film starts off with a pretty big bang. It's got a a pretty good home invasion sequence. Plenty of blood. It's very homage-y to The Shining and Psycho in particular. But there was, once the detective is introduced, there's this, it actually starts, it takes a small little nosedive. I'm not being negative about the film. It works because we're introduced to a character. When you first watch him, it's like, okay, this is the detective. But then you slowly realize that the entire film is kind of based around this detective. And our detective is probably 60 plus. They didn't pick a young, suave, new on the job rookie. They picked basically almost be equivalent to probably the director's grandfather. Being the lead in this movie and explaining and doing voiceovers with the longest, most drawn-out exposition possible. But then after that, it picks up again, and it becomes this really weird slasher cult movie. Hence the name Blood Cult, and the cleaver that's on the cover. But the film really does have a lot of great moments. It's really well shot for being a shot-on-video film. So being that this was kind of the first shot-on-video for the market, I guess you could say, direct-to-video films, they didn't kind of fool around with that. They really I feel that they took themselves seriously on set. There's not a whole lot of laughs, I guess you could say. I mean, we laugh now. But the director was very competent in making the film. They use tripods. It's pretty much in focus. The lighting, of course, is on and off at times, mainly, but that's just due to shooting on VHS. But the film has a lot of going for it, and when it gets, there's a lot of cool moments. Especially my favorite part of the film is. We have the opening, and then immediately it goes to another murder in a dormitory. The killer has already severed the head of the roommate and is slowly waking up the other girl. And instead of killing her with the cleaver like he's already killed 2 victims, he proceeds to beat her to death with the severed head of her roommate, which is one of the greatest kills I've ever seen in a movie. And he just doesn't hit her once. He hits her a few times. And it's really, really well done. And it's actually kind of horrifying because, you think about it, man, I would just rather get hit with the cleaver rather than being beat to death with a severed head of my friend. So it does get really brutal at times. But yeah, I think it's all around a good time. It's very, like I said, it is very police procedural. There's a lot of just the detective sitting around and talking and trying to figure things out. But this is a shining moment for him.
Yeah, no, I love that shit. Look, I'm going to go back to a couple things, Brad said, and I'll elaborate on it. Yeah, the opening scene is a complete classic homage to both, like Brad said, The Shining and Psycho, with very direct references to both of them. The way this first co-ed murder is shot is fantastic. Multiple angles of the murder. We get, because of SOV, we're able to get much more intimate placement of the camera, like within the bathroom. Well, spoiler alert, she gets murdered in a bathroom because, look, motherfucker, I said it's a Psycho reference. So yeah. So yeah, while this co-ed's getting murdered, it's very much Psycho, it's very much The Shining, but it goes directly from that to what I think is one of the great references in the film. When the title pops on the screen and it says Blood Cult, Brad, am I wrong? Or are they cribbing Blood Feast a little bit with the way that the blood drips in the title, the way it looks like?
Yeah, right? I didn't think about that.
Love that. And then Brad's mentioned a couple times about the lead detective in the movie. Brad, that's my favorite fucking thing about this movie is that character, his voiceover, and the fact that it's a police procedural.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a separate movie in a way.
Yeah,
you know, and it really is odd casting.
It's fantastic. Well, the dude, yeah, he's like a grandfatherly looking dude, but he also looks like that old librarian monster from Monsters Incorporated. Like, I kept trying to put my finger on like who this dude reminded me of, and I think it's either a cross between the Monsters Incorporated like librarian looking secretary lady or Roger Ebert.
Are you talking about the one that's like Mike Wazowski? That one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can totally see that, yeah.
And Roger Ebert is this dude. But I fucking love this guy because what he does, Brad, is he reminds me of Vincent Bugliosi in the original Helter Skelter. You know, remember how like Bugliosi would come out in the middle of like the TV movie and just start narrating like what was happening in the Charles Manson case? Yeah. And it also reminds me of the journalist narrator that we get in Demented, the film based on the Ed Gein murders that came out, you know, before Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I can't put my name on that. That starred the guy who was in Home Alone. What was his name? Ezra? I fucking forget. Look, it's not worth it. But I love the police procedural parts of Blood Cult, which, to Brad's point, is most of Blood Cult. But Brad, here's what I really love about Blood Cult. And tell me if I'm wrong. Blood Cult makes a strong case to visit your local library.
It does, because all the answers lie there. It doesn't lie in the police station with the other detectives and people on the case. No, you go to your local library and talk to your daughter, who is working with you on the case, and she will find the clues leading up to what we discover is a blood cult that has dog coins. Yes, dog coins.
But I love Blood Cult. Here's some other things that I love about Blood Cult that I don't think enough shot-on-video movies take advantage of. And, of course, we, on the SOV podcast, we will cover every shot-on-video film ever. But, look, one thing that I don't think enough of the shot-on-video films do is actually use like the intertitles, you know, on the video, on the film itself.
Yeah.
And I love how fucking Blood Cult, whenever they can, they're like, it's Wednesday. We're in the middle of town. Now it's Thursday. Now it's 12:02 p.m. Like they're using like on-screen title cards like as much as they can, but it's the in-camera like VHS shit that you get. I love it.
And it's little parts of the film that I really enjoy. And like I said, the beating of with the severed head. But one of my favorite moments is when they're investigating the murder of the woman that was decapitated and her friend was beat by the head. There's a character, Dr. White, who immediately are detectives like, this guy's basically a piece of shit, always fumbling around in the, with the evidence, something's not right with him. Immediately says that, and I'm like, wait a second. Oh my god. Spoiler, mister. But fast forward to that, he talks about him handling evidence, but then when he goes to the library, he's like, we found this coin on the body, and reaches his hand in the evidence bag and pulls out the coin and then hands it to his daughter. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're just bitching about that in your voiceover and out loud, and you fucking contradict yourself. But that's the beauty of the film.
Look, yeah, and it's the beauty of father-daughter relationships. Like, he trusts her completely. She's a fucking librarian, Brad. She has the fucking answers. Why shouldn't he give her this valuable evidence to help him solve this case? I mean, look, if you've seen Blood Cult, there's a good reason why he shouldn't give her this evidence to help solve the case. But look, Brad.
Yeah.
Brad, are you there?
Yeah, I am always here. I'm right across from you.
Brad, her boyfriend is the cutest guy on planet Earth. Am I right?
He is an odd motherfucker.
But isn't there a line where, like, the sunlight's coming in and they just got done fucking or making out, like, on the bed?
Oh,
it's like beautiful, soft glow. Like, the lighting in this particular scene is gorgeous. Like, it reminds me of, like, very early Spielberg, like, Sugarland Express or something. Like, really warm sunlight coming through the window.
It's that 80s, 90s haze that I always talk about.
Yeah, the fucking yellow haze. And he looks at her and he goes, like, do you have time to make out with the cutest guy in the room? Shit like that.
Fucking cute AF.
Like, he's so fucking full of himself. I fucking love him. And that's Mark Borchardt. So, Mark, if you're listening, at The More the Scarier, Mark, we love you. Please play Joel. We'll remake Blood Cult. We'll do it one weekend. We'll fly out. But please do it. I love you.
And another thing that I enjoy is the long takes in the film of certain things. For example, like I said, when the detective gives the voiceover, we have at least 15 minutes of the detective just sitting in the car eating Arby's, by the way, which made me very, very hungry. Just kind of like looking around with music playing in the background and him staring off into space. And then the one scene that really gets me rolling is when they discover the fingers in the salad. But leading up to that, there's a girl like that. She walks through the doors. She gets her tray. She gets a plate. She goes up to the counter. She looks at all the food. She points to what she wants. She's given the food. Then she walks to the salad bar, starts to pick up the Jell-O, puts the Jell-O back down, picks up the salad, keeps putting salad on her plate, and then goes to sit down, and then the fingers are exposed. And I'm like, oh my God, talk about filler. But it works. And that's the beauty about some of these movies, is that we can sit back and we can laugh at things like that. And it gives us a little bit of breathing room for all the voiceovers that we have to hear as well. But
well, I love the fucking cafeteria scenes, because there's a couple of them, but there's the first one where the girl gets the blue plate special with the Diet Coke.
Yeah, Diet Coke.
And then
we also have to watch her pay for it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is you have to watch her pay for it. And it's just like, so many fucking questions are answered, because I'm watching movies all the time, Brad. Like, I'm watching Transformers The Last Night, and I just see someone drinking a Sprite. And I'm like, how the fuck did they get that Sprite? Where the fuck did they get it? How much did it fucking cost? You know?
Hey, we find out in Blood Cult.
But $2.37 for the blue plate special and a Diet Coke, that's a fucking deal. And that shit looked healthy. Like, it was nice square meal.
It was.
That they serve at the university.
And then right during that scene, we have this very large man, Asian man, run up to the dainty girl who's running the cash register to pull her because he's scared to death of the body that he has found in the dumpster. And it's like, bro, why are you taking her to go show the body? Handle that shit yourself. Call the cops. But no, we don't do that in Blood Cult. You know, we have to have that, you know, dramatic effect of watching. Oh man! And when she looks over the dumpster and the close up of her face and that scream that she does is so good. It's so good. Oh man,
so good.
So good. So good.
It's so good, Brad. It's so fucking good. She's such a fucking scream queen. She's like Emma Roberts. Fucking Jamie Lee Curtis meets like your fucking mom.
Whoa.
When she's not passed out from peppermint schnapps watching fucking Blood Cult.
Yeah, that is true. She did pass out from peppermint schnapps. Another one question I had for you, and this might just be ignorance on my part, but during one of the ceremonial scenes with the cult, they're all like, you know, giving the demonic, you know, scripture or whatever they're reading. But at the end, they all say amen, and they grumble it. Like, do demonic cults say amen? Is that a thing?
Yeah, well, I know why you're asking me this, because I'm in a demonic cult.
Yeah.
I'm in the cult of Demon Wind. I'm in Demon Wind, And we don't say amen, but we say like a variation of amen, which is almond.
Oh, okay.
Like the nut. Because what we do is we say almond, but we say it kind of like amen, and then we do a circle jerk, like all onto a cracker in the middle of our pentagram. So I get why you're asking, but no, we don't say amen. We say almond, and that means nut, and then we all nut onto the cracker in the pentagram. I can't help you beyond that, though.
Oh, okay. That doesn't answer my question at all, but at least it gives me some insight about, you keep wanting me to join your cult. So the answer is going to be no now, because that's a little weird.
Wait, Brad, you don't want to join the cult?
No. I mean, we don't have to do this on air, and, we're kind of right in front of one another, and we're already kind of doing a circle jerk as it is. But I think we need to calm down and...
Cool shit, though, bro.
But we need to jump back to the actual, maybe the cool film.
Shit. Last week, Maurice and I, we went and watched Mercury Rising at his mom's house. It was hecka fun, dude. It was the TNT cut. It had all the swears taken out. And it was pretty chill, man. And we had what do you call those things? The nut thins, it's like gluten free and it tastes kind of like ranch. They're good, man. Me and Maurice, hang out with us, man. All you do is once a week, you jerk off onto a cracker and you say almond. Demon Wind, bro. We're cool.
I think I think I made a mistake about bringing about the amen thing in Blood Cult. But it's fine. We can jump back into the film and then we can have this conversation a little bit later, right? I take back what I said. I'm not completely out of the cult. We'll work on that, okay?
Brad, how can you take back what you said? You already said it. I can't, know what you said to me.
Hey, can we talk about how the detective, fucking face fucks Arby's in his car for a second?
Oh my god, yes, because I fucking love Arby's. Hey, Brad, you know who else loves Arby's?
Who?
Melissa K, the lady who designed our SOVPOD design
shit.
for our fucking logo. Melissa K at Mecha Melissa. She fucking loves Arby's. She's like queen of Arby's.
Man,
Brad, what's your favorite thing to get at Arby's?
My favorite thing to get is the beef and cheddar. And and I put
no, on the fucking onion bun.
On the onion bun, yeah. And then I put one full packet of horsey sauce and one full packet of Arby's sauce. And my favorite thing to do is to eat alone, because I'm gonna eat this shit like a fucking rat. Is that I face fuck it very much like the detective does, and then when I bite into it, the cheese, the horsey sauce, and the Arby's sauce is all mixed, and it does a little bit of drip right out of the back. Oh man! And then I got the sauces on the side of my face, and then I pop in that and then I take the curly fry, and then I dip it in that dip that just fell off my fucking sandwich. The cheese, the horsey sauce, and Arby's sauce, and I just smear it around, and I pop that curly fry in my mouth, and then I take a sip of my Coke, and I'm golden. I really want Arby's now. I'm kind of salivating. We're here in New Orleans, where they have, a lot of, a lot of great food. And I don't, I could go for some shrimp jambalaya right here. We're looking at that one building that I've heard they serve great shrimp jambalaya. But I could go to an oyster bar down here as well. But I just want fucking Arby's now.
I just want Arby's.
Can you promise me after we record this, we'll drive down the street to the Arby's that we saw coming here?
We fucking have to. Brad, you see my beard lately, man. I got this little Labre flavor saver. I want to get fucking Arby's sauce.
Your Arby's sauce would be so good afterwards. That would be like second meal.
Oh my god.
So anyways,
this episode is not brought to you by Taco Bell. It's brought to you by Arby's. Yeah, you suck the Arby's sauce off my Labre, my little flavor saver. Like Guy Fieri, take you to Flavor Town, right? Right there. You see it? You see what I'm doing?
Did we mention that there is a story about... I know I don't want to go dark here for a second, but I think we need to jump ship on this and change topics before we get a little too hot about the Arby's. Is that this director also directed The Ripper with Tom Savini. And then he also went on to do a sequel to Blood Cult called Revenge. Sadly enough, we won't be covering Revenge on the show because he actually filmed Revenge on 16mm. And if you enjoy Blood Cult, then and the police procedural and the voiceovers, you'll enjoy Revenge because that detective is back in the sequel, and he does the exact same thing again, and it is great. Yeah, he also did that, but I was reading a little bit about this before the recording, before we doing this, and apparently there's this allegation against him of being a child molester, or he took photos of young men. Did you read that?
No.
Because Christopher Lewis is the director? Yeah, really weird. I've done a little bit more digging on that, and it looks like, of course this happened in the 70s, so it really wasn't publicized and documented too well, but there were a couple things where it was saying about him, getting involved in some skeezy shit, and I was wondering if you ever heard that or knew anything else.
I do not. You said Christopher Lewis, the director?
Yeah, Christopher Lewis, the director.
What a piece of shit. Fuck that guy.
Well,
Why didn't you feature him first?
Don't
Brad?
know.
What are you doing? Why don't you do your fucking research? Why don't you go to the local library and talk to your daughter about the fucking show we're doing so we don't fucking lead with child molestation?
We
Brad.
could have easily avoided this if I paid attention to the film and took the history lessons of the film and actually went to the library before. We could have solved this, and we just could have been talking about the Last Slumber Party. You know what? Saying that,
should we get into the last?
I think we should leave Blood Cult on that bad note, and we can talk about the beauty and the amazingness of the Last Slumber Party. That is not, I repeat, that is not associated with the Slumber Party Massacre films or Sorority House Massacre, even though it's weird that they didn't try to play off of that.
That's true. What about Microwave Massacre?
Microwave Massacre, I don't think tries to do anything. I mean, that movie's all over the place.
We will be right back with The Last Slumber Party. Here is a quick word from our sponsor of this week's episode of SOVPOD, Arby's. Thank you, Arby's.
DJs love Arby's. LPGs love Arby's. You and I love Arby's. You and I love America's roast beef. Yes, sir. VIPs love Arby's. DPSs love Arby's. You and I love roast beef at Arby's. You and I love roast beef at Arby's. Tender and juicy. America's roast beef. Yes, sir.
Dude looks like a ladies' slumber party. Next up on SOVPOD, we are talking about The Last Slumber Party, directed by Steven with a PH, Tyler. But before we get into it, Brad, I'm hungry. We satiated ourselves well during the break with some fucking delicious Arby's. It went straight to my belly.
Well, Mike, you got a little bit of cheese left on that beard. I can see it.
No,
that's
not cheese.
It's like
that's
dangling. It's gonna bother me for the rest of this show if you don't clean that up right now. You know what? No.
You are fishing. That is not cheese. That is Brad sauce.
No.
That is Brad sauce.
Lean over here. Lean over here. Lean over here. Let me get it.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
Ah, there we go. You're good.
Woo, baby, I like it. Brad, before we jump into the last Slumber Party Massacre, not to be confused with the penultimate Slumber Party Massacre. Wait, it's not even a fucking massacre. It's
the last Slumber Party.
Right?
Yeah, it's just the last Slumber Party.
You already teased that. What the okay. So, before we jump into it, what are we eating tonight, baby?
You know, I've had some slumber fucking parties in my day and a few massacres, but I would say, since this is a slumber party, I would get the traditional, no shame, bagel bites with pepperoni, because the cheese ones taste a little weird. Just cheese tastes a little weird. You got to get the ones with pepperoni. I would probably get, because somebody's always going to steal some. So, you can never just fix the 9-pack, because that never works. You could fix the 18, but people are going to take a few, and then you're still going to be hungry. So I suggest buy that fucking box of 24, or if you want to jump in there, if you could find the ones of 36 that do exist, buy the ones of 36, and then you can have some with your friends. And honestly, I would grab some Coca-Colas. And not the 2 liter, not the liter, not the 2 liter, not the little bottles, but there's something about a cold can of Coke, like ice cold. And if you really want to make that Coke especially delicious, put it in that cooler with ice and pull that joker out after a couple of hours. Crack it, hear that crack and that fizz. And you put those, then you take those little bagel bites off that little, that silver microwavable dish that they give you. If you put them in the microwave, I suggest, honestly, putting those bagel bites in the oven before your friends come over and have them ready when they come out. Because you do the microwave, they're going to go a little soggy. But if you do the oven, they get a little bit more crispy, and you get that bite. And then you can put the whole bagel bite. That's the best part. You put the whole bagel bite in your mouth, and it's cool enough, and you bite down, and then the cheese and sauce ooze out of the sides and in the center, and you just chew it, and it's quiet. Don't have to worry about a lot of noise. Don't overcook them, or they will be loud. But traditional pepperoni bagel bites with a can of Coke. Ice cold Coke. I just like saying Coke. Coke's my favorite drink. Other than this coffee I'm drinking this fine early morning on Friday. But, I think...
It's Friday, gotta get it Friday.
But I think something basic like that would kind of appease and please everybody. I think it's a good choice. What about you, Mike?
Oh, look, hey, I'm not gonna... I can't fuck with perfection. And Brad, what you did is just... It's perfection. The fucking... The pepperoni on those little bagel bites, the way it's, like, cubed, like it's fucking cubed Spam. Oh, it's so beautiful how it's, like, drizzled... Oh, it's so good. But here's what I would do, Brad.
Yeah?
I might throw in a Diet Coke option. Just because sometimes I'm watching movies with, like, former heroin addicts, and they're into aspartame, and, like, they need their Diet Coke. So I might do the ice-cold Diet Coke. I also prefer the flavor of Diet Coke. I'm not, like, full Sean Dureger with my Coke Zero bullshit, so I won't do, like, a half-hour diatribe on that. But I need some Diet Coke. The other thing I would do is I would mix a little ranch and sriracha to make what I call sriracha, and I would dip my pepperoni bagel bites into my sriracha, if you will. I'm not going to fuck with perfection. You
said not to fuck with perfection, but I mean, there's something about you can always could we make could Tarantino take the script and make it a little bit better? Well, probably not. But there is that chance of it happening, and that's what you just did. You just made a Tarantino script better by adding sriracha. I can't get on board with the Diet Coke thing because that's kind of, I think you're a freak, but I can let it slide because you made up for it with the sriracha. I think you're going to make this. This is some next level shit. So tonight, for everybody that's listening, obviously, I really hope you guys had you have a good morning on your drive to work, or if you're leaving work, I hope you had a really good day because this weekend's going to be fucking fantastic for you. And if you want to make it a little bit better, if you already have the Slumber Party Massacre or the Last Slumber Party prepped, drive to your local grocery store, get some bagel bites, get some Coke or Diet Coke, get some ranch and sriracha. Get home, call your friends over. If you need a little more prep, do it on Saturday.
Look, you got to get the original Hui Fong shit from Southern California. That's the good shit. The hot cock sauce.
Yeah, we have that here. We have that here.
Real fucking sriracha.
So
Like real sriracha.
I think
Absolutely, positively have to give every motherfucker in the room a boner from your sriracha, except no substitutes. Right, Brad?
I can't agree with you more. I can't. And especially since I can't.
Absolutely cannot.
Being that I can't, I'm going to jump into the movie.
Yeah.
So
What movie are we talking about, baby?
we are talking about The Last Slumber Party, which I saw years ago because I was tricked into the title thinking it was part of the Slumber Party Massacre franchise. And this would be the fourth one, which technically Sorority House Massacre is the fourth one. And then, you think it might be Sorority House Massacre 3, but no, because that's Hard to Die, which is not titled Sorority. And I'm going to go down a wormhole here. I'll just stop talking. But, I got caught up in that web of deception with The Last Slumber Party, but I was not unhappy when I watched this film. I was ecstatic. I love the Slumber Party Massacre films. I love the Sorority House Massacre, but that's being said, has nothing to do with those whatsoever. The only movies that I see this pull inspiration from is, I do think the killer is pulled a little bit like the Russ Thorne character from Slumber Party Massacre, the killer, driller killer, but this is Halloween through and fucking through. Now, I can't say that because there is a huge pull from the original Slumber Party Massacre in this film when the girls are in the kitchen getting the drinks and the guys come up to the window. That's totally the scene. Yeah. Totally the scene. I'm quoting PJ Souls here. That is the scene from Slumber Party Massacre. But from other than that, maybe a couple things. So many things can happen at a slumber party. It's not like, they're pulling everything. It's the same fucking thing happens every time. If you would write a script of a killer coming to a slumber party, it's probably going to end up, all the scripts are going to end up the same. Boobs, killer,
Bradley,
someone's ordering pizza, drinking beers.
Pulled at your slumber party, Bradley?
What is that?
Bradley?
What is that?
Bradley?
What?
What do you like pulled at a slumber party? What do you like pulled?
I've had some slumber parties back in my day, and you might
Not
have
sleepovers. I'm talking slumber.
Oh no.
Parties.
I've had some slumber parties.
Okay.
I've crashed a couple slumber parties in my day.
Oh, we're talking fucking Holly Hunter and James Spader?
No.
We're talking Paul Haggis crash?
We might
what fucking crash?
we might need to actually cut this short because I don't know if I can talk about it legally. I don't know if I can talk about it legally, Mike. I'm serious. So
we'll cut it short. Talk to me offline about it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump right back into kind of the homage that they do with Halloween. There's the direct three girls walking down from school, having the center, character is Laurie Strode. PJ Souls is off to the her left, and then
totally.
Yeah, it's just the dialogue, the way they present themselves. Is it even laying down to have that nap like Laurie does right before she meets everybody. It's just all of it just leads up to kind of the last slumber party, but the whole intro to those characters is Halloween 100%. And then when they're sitting on the couch, all watching television, having the conversations with each other, it's very much like the conversations in Halloween when they're having over the phones with one another. So it's just it's hilarious, but you could see the inspiration pulled from that, and it works though. It really does. It's harmless. You could really tell that there's a lot of heart behind this film, and I think that's what really drives it. And just being really fucking goofy. And I think we should have had a disclaimer in the front of this before we got into this, because you and I had this conversation about whether this is a shot-on-video movie or not.
Oh yeah.
So
Go
ahead.
You actually did some legwork.
Yeah.
You and I were talking, and I said, Brad, now look, at the beginning of The Last Slumber Party, I'm detecting like a lot of dust and hair and scratches and shit on like what would appear to be like 16 millimeter footage. with this surgeon that's picking up his scalpels and shit. And you're like, yeah, it does like seem, because this is before like computer effects and where you could go in there and add like retro grade shit to your video or film. And you're like, yeah, it does kind of seem 16 millimeter. So you went and you did some legwork and you found the answer to this. And tell us a bit about what you found out, buddy.
I did. I actually was able to contact Jan Jensen, who plays Chris in the film. She plays the lead. She's the beautiful, beautiful redhead. Yeah, and I actually had the opportunity to discuss a few things with her because I really wanted to know, especially doing this show since our first episode, are we going to cover, accidentally cover something that's not shot on video? Pause for a second, go back a little bit. That being said, there are a lot of films that are shot on 16 millimeter that have been transferred to tape that look like they're shot on video because they share that shot on video aesthetic that really aren't shot on video films. And I got tricked by Science Crazed. Even though a lot of people say
Science Crazed?
I did.
Sexuality. That's my sexuality.
A lot of people talk about Science Crazed being shot on video, and yes, while it shares a lot of the shot on video aesthetics and it's weird and it looks like it, it's actually technically shot on 16 millimeter. Which, it kind of circle back, that goes in the Last Slumber Party. So while watching the film again, even before we were doing the show, I was like, man, I know that this film is shot on video, but rewatching it again, on this beautiful transfer that VCI did for the DVD of this VHS tape, you could really tell that certain portions of the film were definitely shot on film. But then, flip right into the next scene, it's 100% shot on video, just because you could tell, especially with the comparison back and forth. So I was like, man. So I did a little research, read a little bit about it. People were kind of still up in the air. They were like, I don't know, is this shot on like 8 millimeter, 16? Obviously, it looks like parts were shot on video. So in my conversation with Jan Jensen, I had a few questions. I wanted to get her for this show, but she just couldn't make that happen. But she was very kind and told me a couple things. And yes, it is true. There were portions of the film that were shot on video, and there were portions of the film that were shot on 16 millimeter. And the reason being is the film, I believe, was originally shot in 1984. And they had... Wait a second, it was shot in 84. What year was the last Slumber Party Massacre?
88.
Oh. Really? No. Slumber Party Massacre is 82. So I was just about to say, wait, did fucking Slumber Party Massacre rip off this one? Or vice versa? Okay, so the film was shot in for the course of a period of time, but originally started filming in October, they said, 1984. So being that it was a very low budget production, they kept running out of money, and he was, had a tight schedule to shoot, so he shot on whatever he could get his hands on. If he had some money for some rolls of film on 16, he would do that. If he didn't have the money, he would shoot it shot on video. So that's the reason why there's that jumping back and forth, which was, I think, fairly interesting. I think this is one of the only films to do that. I have never heard of a shot-on-video film sharing 16 millimeter as well. Now, I think the majority of the film is shot on 16 from what it looks like, but there's a lot of scenes and a lot of longer shots that you could tell were definitely shot on video. So, but Jan Jensen, she's a very sweet lady. She's very happy that she did this movie. She's sad that she doesn't really know anybody else that was part of it. No one really went on to do anything else. The director kind of disappeared. But really interesting that this gem of a movie came out. And it's sad because it really isn't celebrated more. I understand why, of course, but I think could be a big audience for this one. I think this one does have something for everybody.
Well, no, Brad, it's not. I don't think it's the first time they've used shot on video, or it's certainly not the last time they've used shot on video and 16 millimeter. I mean, fucking Oliver Stone, right? Throughout the early 90s, all he was doing was fucking 16 millimeter, 35 millimeter, 70 millimeter video, like high definition video. Like he was mixing everything. But yeah, the Last Slumber Party was the first. We'll say that. Not the last. Even though they say they're the last, they are not the last. But Brad, here's something I fucking love about the Last Slumber Party, and it's this.
What is that, Mike?
When the title drops.
Ooh.
When the title drops, it doesn't drop it at the beginning. You know, sometimes you're watching a movie and it's like Warner Brothers presents a Christopher Nolan film, and then it just says like Interstellar or whatever the name of his movie is. I don't like that, and I kind of like it when it comes at the end, not at the end of the movie. I hate that shit. That's pretentious as fuck when it comes like all the way at the end of the movie and it's like, Harry Potter 7. Like, who gives a shit? But I like when it comes at the end of the credit sequence, like after the producer, written by, directed by, and then the title fucking comes up. Like, I think that's a great thanks to all the people who worked on it. But the Last Slumber Party does a thing that's so fucking cool that I haven't seen much ever, really. And that's, they drop the title in the middle of the credit sequence. What do you think about that, buddy?
I know. I noticed that too. It really kind of takes you off guard for a second. It reminded me a little bit in Friday the 13th remake, because that title card pops up like 20 minutes into the movie after Jason like slaughters everybody at the camp. And that always stood out for me. I don't know. There's something. I agree with you. There's something about perfect placement title cards that can really kind of get the ball rolling on movies.
I love that shit. James Bond is always great, I think, with not just the title card, but like when they decide to begin the theme song, or like I think of The World Is Not Enough, like how that fucking shit started like 30 minutes into the movie. I was like, oh, that's right, they haven't played the fucking garbage song yet. But the other one is that comes to mind is Eli Roth's Cabin Fever. I love that Angelo Badalamenti score and how they go through the entire credit sequence and then have the cabin fever kind of like come through the blood and the skin and the epidermis or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, The Departed, man. I think that might be the best like late in the credit sequence like title drop that I've seen in the last 10-15 years. I love that shit. Like how you're already really into this case with Leonardo DiCaprio and the bullshit he gets mixed up in, and then they're like, oh yeah, here's the name of the movie. Also Kevin Corrigan, who's awesome. So I love that shit.
And one thing that I love about the film, and another thing, there's many things I love about this movie, is the dialogue that consists in this movie. It's just like, I want to say that a lot of that shit's just improv, but at the same time, like I was reading, interviews about how that was actually written in the script, and there was one with the talk about menfolk. Let's rustle up some menfolk. How do you menfolk? Menfolk. Like how do you say that? Menfolk.
Right. It's like the second L in llama. Like you don't say the second L in llama, you just say llama, the first L.
La llama.
So in folk, you just say folk.
No, I say la llama. Is that wrong?
You say la llama?
That's la llama.
La llama?
All right, so menfolk. And also there's that one sequence with the menfolk when the blonde-haired girl and the guy are upstairs and they're about to get some hanky-panky going on. And she turns to him and she says, if you want me, just whistle. You know how to whistle, don't you? Just part your lips and blow. And I tell you what, man, I can't wait to get in bed with my lady and just kind of look over and do kind of that Tom Selleck pose, with the one arm, with your head resting on your hand and your elbow laying on the bed, and your little bit of tight, little bit of tight underwear the tightest underwear you have because they're just a little bit older.
I call that the Burt Reynolds on the bearskin, bro. I call it the Burt Reynolds on the
there you go.
bearskin.
Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck, if they would have got together at some point, whoa. That'd be hot like an Alabama takedown. So what I want to see is, or what I want to do is I want to do that. Because I'm pretty sure that could get anybody laid. Right? Am I right? I got to be right. I'm right.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Okay, that's good enough for me.
Right.
That's all I really care about.
Right.
I'm going to get a sip of this coffee again. Just a second. What
kind of coffee are you drinking there, Brad? Coffee shop of horrors?
No, I am just drinking regular Folgers. I'm a basic bitch. So, basic bitch. I'm sorry. That's just how I am. That's how I am. But we were speaking about kind of the improv dialogue. Another thing that I was reading was some of the scenes were improv, mainly because of the tight schedule and the budgetary constraints of the film. There was a lot of times where he would just tell the actor to look sad in the scene, jump in the pool, look afraid. And they would have no idea at what part this was in the movie. They were just going by what he was saying, and he would feed them lines as the film was going. And apparently there was also multiple endings that he was filming, so even the actors didn't know what was going on, which was great because I still don't know what's going on in the movie, so it totally fucking worked. It's a total mindfuck of a movie.
Oh, I love it. And you're talking, of course, about Steven Tyler. That's Steven with a PH for pretty fucking hot instead of being Steven Tyler with a TV, which sounds like a venereal disease, which I think Aerosmith, they all have at this point.
Whoa.
Steven Tyler also played, the writer-director, he also played the creeper, right? Like the main crazy slasher dude that's in the picture. But I'm also wondering, because he wears many hats or many surgical masks in this film, so to speak, I don't have the notes in front of me. Did he edit the film as well? And, like, when he was shooting, was he shooting, like, on the edit? Because we know some of the great filmmakers, like the independents I work with and you work with, but they're directors who shoot to the edit. Like, they know what they're going to use and what they're not going to use and how it's going to match. And it sounds like what he was doing out at the pool or, throughout the house, it sounds like he was maybe editing it in his mind as he went along. Do you know?
I don't know if he edited the film or not. Yeah, but I will tell you something that I did notice after a couple of our conversations. There's something that ties in the Last Slumber Party with Blood Cult.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You're going to tie this shit together?
Yeah, and I had no...
You're going to package it up, put a fucking bow on it.
I had no idea. The same editor edits Blood Cult and edited the Last Slumber Party.
So I literally just asked you, did the director edit the movie? And you're like, I don't know. But here's a bit of information about who the editor actually is. Brad, you fucking know. You knew
No,
that.
I didn't know if he was editing on the fly. I mean, hey, there's a bunch of directors that co-edit the film without taking credit. And you know that, Mr. Filmmaker.
Yeah, no, I know that. I know that shit. I know
you
that
should
shit.
know it.
I know it.
You should know it.
I mean, I maybe do.
So
maybe. I don't know. I might.
Well, apparently the editors work together with our other Christopher Lewis guy of Blood Cult, Revenge, and The Ripper. So that was actually unintentional to tie those two films together when we were making our preparing this show. But a little bit of
No, we did that shit on purpose, Brad. You fucking
yeah.
You don't say happy accident.
100%,
you fucking own it. You're like, here's the
100%.
fucking shit that. Right, unsung heroes of filmmaking.
But
the editor. I mean, how many people can name their favorite editor? And I'm not talking about some Astron 6 motherfucking Italian motherfucker. I'm talking about, like, actual fucking editor.
Sally Minke.
Arthur Schmidt. There you go.
Boom.
Hi, Sally. Say hi, Sally. Bro.
Hi, Sally. Do you know what else is great about this? Is motherfucking First Strike. How can we up this movie, up the ante a little bit? We get this kick-ass, no-hit wonder fucking metal band that has a killer fucking soundtrack. And a good album, too.
Wait. Stop. Brad, I love you. Stop. Did you say First Strike?
First Strike.
Bro, I always pronounce it Fire Strike. Is it Jackie Chan? Or is it like fucking Howie Long? I don't know.
There's not an E in there, is it?
First Strike?
It's F-I-R Strike. So it spells out first. Is it First Reich? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Holy shit, you had the child molester movie first, and then now you have the fucking Hitler movie? Brad, what are you doing, man?
Oh man.
What the fuck? First Reich?
I'm sorry. Let's just move on. The soundtrack is great. But I did want to jump back because we didn't. There was a few things I want to talk about the dialogue. Again, like the dialogue is crazy in this film. What's up with the gay bashing that happens throughout the film? Did you notice that? Like how number one, the guy says awful shit to his girlfriend, like, oh, you're shitty, fuck you, you're a fucking bitch. And then she's like, in return, saying, well, you're a fucking queer faggot. And says, oh, queer bait, get out of the closet. And it's like, why is there so much gay bashing dialogue in this movie? And it really stands out. It's harmless.
The 80s, do a lot of coke and vote for Ronald Reagan.
It's harmless. It's very harmless. It's not mean spirited at all. But it does stand out for sure. But it's so many little.
It's not mean spirited.
It's not. I don't feel it is. No, it's not like they're picking on somebody and saying things. It's just kind of gay bashing with your boyfriend or girlfriend. But yeah, that's by far.
Brad, have you ever had a girlfriend and called her like a bitch cunt or something?
No, I'll say the word cunt, but I've never called her
like a lesbo. Have you ever had a girlfriend and called her a lesbo?
No. So we talked about my favorite parts of the film. What about yours? Because I love the dialogue.
Brad, I have. Yeah.
What's your favorite part? Tell me, Mike. Mike D. Tell me.
Look,
spit it out,
baby. I'm gonna spill it, girl. I'm gonna spill it, Cookie. All right. At the end of the day, what I love about the Last Slumber Party is the production design. We've already talked a bit about, the burn-in on the TV set when they're watching the news and how it's like a very static image that just says Channel 4 News. I love it. It's like bright purple and it's got the yellows and it's glorious. It's great. But the number one fucking thing that they do in this movie for production design that I fucking love, it's the wallpaper, Brad.
In the hallway? Oh my god. What is that?
Yeah, it's almost like Stanley Kubrick-esque, like how he has the very intentional design on the floor at the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, or you think of any number of walls that he has in like Eyes Wide Shut. Like, it's very garish, it's very over the top, it's very like of the time that the film was shot. But this fucking wallpaper, Brad, am I wrong? It looks exactly like the composition notebook, that black and white splatter composition notebook.
Takes me back. Takes me back.
In high school, or if you didn't finish high school, or if you don't write for yourself, and if you're a movie like horror fanatic, think of what that piece of shit Kevin Spacey, what he writes on in Seven. John Doe's notebooks, all that like classic black and white, like splattery. Like, who even came up with that design, and why the fuck is it on the wall? And it's beautiful. I love it.
I think it might be flowers. I thought it was flowers. It looks like flowers to me. I don't know.
Hey man, you cross your eyes long enough, you start thinking like Freudian thoughts, like those Rorschachs become like whatever you need them to be, baby. And it became the composition notebook, because the Last Slumber Party is definitely something to write home about in, say, a composition notebook.
You know what I would write in that composition notebook? I would write about the awesomeness of the conversations that they have on the phone. clearly
Oh,
the actors are in the same room with one another, and you can hear them just having the conversation while one's off screen and the other one's on screen on the phone. And it just cracks me up. It really does. I laugh, and like there are some quick cuts to another person on the phone, but it's a different scene. But while that one scene's going on, you could totally hear those people in the same room together. But that's what I love about the film, because there's I would like to call them honest mistakes. It's really unclear whether it was due to budgetary reasons. If they really thought this would work, no one's going to notice. But that's what I love about the film, and the films we'll be talking about, is there's a lot of those little things. And it's like first-time filmmakers that are just making a movie just to make one, to see if they can do it. And the little things that we pick on and laugh at, it's also gives us that, it gives that film a longer life. And that's the reason why we're talking about The Last Slumber Party, 1988? So, 30 years later, we're talking about The Last Slumber...
Literally 30 years.
30 years, literally.
The internet tells me 30 years ago was 1988.
So we're talking about, this film still, it just came out, dedicating a whole entire show to it. So something had to go right with this film. And then that's what I love about shot-on-video films, is those honest mistakes, because they're funny, they're harmless, and you can sit back and laugh at it. Maybe the filmmaker may not laugh at it and hate himself for it, but it really does give something else for the film, and having a good time. And that's what I said on the introductory episode, is that it feels like friends of yours are making a movie and you're part of it. So...
No, yeah, certainly. And, no fault of Steven Tyler, okay? There's many things to fault a Steven Tyler for, but those things don't include, say, Liv Tyler or That Thing You Do, or people that are PH Steven Tyler, like the director of The Last Slumber Party. And look, you want to talk about Liv Tyler for a second? Is that what's happening?
No. I talk about Liv Tyler on my other show, the Liv Tyler Pod.
If you want to talk about Liv Tyler, we could do it.
But no.
That's my safe word. That's my safe word. Liv Tyler.
That's your safe word. Yes. My safe word is Arby's. You want to go back to Arby's?
Oh, fuck it. Oh, with the beef and cheddar and the horsey sauce. I'm gonna do 2 packs of horsey sauce. You want to go back to Arby's?
I fucking double dare you.
I
double dog dare you. Well, let's finish out this episode, and we can go across the street and go back to Arby's. So, along with these films, if you want to buy these films, they're available through VCI. They're fairly cheap. And how much were they, Mike? Like $6, $7, somewhere around there?
Oh, $6.99.
Yeah, and you get
the Scream Theater line is $6.99 a pop, including the one that they call Scream Theater, like 70s Screaming, which comes with, I think, like 12 movies instead of the regular 2. Every edition's $6.99.
And then they're all double bills. So if you buy Blood Cult, you get its sequel, Revenge. And then if you buy Last Slumber Party, I believe the movie is called Terror at 10 Killer. That may sound made up, but I'm pretty sure that's it. So, but yeah, those would that's it. I mean, we just basically hopefully talked you into both of these films, watching them, eating the food with them. I hope you get some bagel bites and anytizers, some corals. I always say curls when I'm speaking.
Don't say CL Smooth, baby.
CL
Just
Smooth.
make it easier. CL Smooth.
I like that.
CL Smooth road sodas.
Ooh. Are we going to have some road sodas on the way back?
We need to, sweetheart.
All right.
Where are we driving out for next week's episode with Blonde Death? I think we're going to L.A., right?
We're going to L.A., a place I've been to before, and I can't wait to go back. So our next 2 films that we'll be covering is a recently rescued film from Bleeding Skull Video, rescued Blonde Death, which is available through Mondo T's Bleeding Skull Video, wherever you can find it. You can get it on, I believe, VHS and DVD over there. That's
well, right now they only have the DVD.
They only have the DVD. Okay. Oh, those VHS sell out pretty quick. So Blonde Death is not a horror film. It is a drama. But I hope that makes you even want to watch it more, because there are very, very few shot-on-video dramas and thrillers. It's mostly just horror. And our other film that we'll be talking about is available on DVD still, called, it's an iconic title, Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. And it's quite fun. And I hope you dig those too. So make sure you pick those up if you want to follow along. Hopefully, if you don't do that, hopefully we'll talk you into purchasing them after you listen to our next episode, which will be episode 2. If you continue to listen to these beautiful voices.
Of course you will. Hey, look, Brad, the other thing too is Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator, although it sounds like a horror title or like a B horror title, it reminds me, and we'll get into this next week, of course, but it reminds me of like a Harold Pinter play, like a murder mystery, like Michael Caine in Death Trap.
Yeah,
that's what I love about that movie.
It's not really full on horror, right? Yeah, it's not full blown horror. Right. So,
yeah, it's kind of like it will, again, we'll riff on it next week and talk about it and review it. But it's really like Kids in the Hall meets Death Trap meets Trauma. It's great. It's fantastic. Brad, before we head out of here to go to Arby's, because I am starving like a Marvin. I'm Hamlish.
How are you hungry again? Hamlish. We just ate. I mean, I know we only had one sandwich, but I could go for. Do you remember back in the day with Arby's? They used to do the 5 for $5. But when you got those 5 for $5 sandwiches, they were full on Arby's sandwiches. Now they have the meal size sandwich, and then they have the 5 for $5 sandwiches with basically like the same size of a fucking White Castle burger. It's so silly.
The 5 for $5's bullshit nowadays. You're right. I remember the last time I did the 5 for $5. It was in 2004. I was watching this is obviously true. I was watching the remake of Flight of the Phoenix. I was like, yes, I'm going to watch a fucking Dennis Quaid movie. And I love Flight of the Phoenix. And I'm excited about this. And I was super hungover. And I went to Arby's and they were doing like the 5 for $5. And I bought like 10 of the motherfuckers. And it was full blown big ass fucking beefy bullshit sandwiches. It was the best day of my life. And I haven't reached a high that high yet. Again, Brad, save me.
I want to do the 5 for $5.
I'm crying.
I just want to go back in time and do the 5 for $5 when you actually got real roast beef, and you could also do the beef and cheddars at that time, and just sit in your car and cry and eat all 5 with no problem. Driving to your local video store to pick up The Last Slumber Party or Blood Cult, and then just going home and passing out 15 minutes into the movie and then continuing to watch the movie the next day. Yes. Just me? Okay, just me.
There's another artist I want to talk about before we get out of here, Brad, and we would be remiss if we did not mention him. Bless his soul. I love this man. Dustin Pace. He left us early in August of last year, but your work with him, you did some. I did work with him as well. We did this independently. He was our side bitch. Look, we shared Dustin. We didn't know this until after he passed, but now we're bonded over it. But you did work with him over at ScreamCast. I did work with him over at Splathouse. But what were you guys working on that you have to share with the world now, baby?
Well, through ScreamCast, we did a couple pins. We did an oily pin, which is now sold out. That was done by artist Omar Hookson. I don't know how to say his last name correctly, but he's a great artist. He's done some big major studio posters and art. He designed Oily, and then we also had a Suspiria pin that we did. During that time, Dustin was really interested in doing pins as well, and he reached out to me and he said, where do you get your pins? How much are they? And we were talking about it, and I was like, well, if you want to do some pins, let's, get together and come up with some ideas. So we're pitching ideas back and forth, and he was working on 3 pins with us, and Oily was selling well. Suspiria kind of kicked us in the butt, so we're like, all right, let's try to get some more of these off the ground before we move forward. And honestly, before you know it, he sadly passed away. So to help raise money, and all the proceeds went to his wife Tiffany, we released one pins that was completely finished, which was our pumpkin head pin, which we called Pumpkin Duddy, and then we had 2 other pins that we were working on that weren't finished, that I've been working with a couple of friends on finishing up the art. Was our Possession pin that is now in stock. I just received it today, actually. My girlfriend called me from home, and she said, hey, where are you? And I said, New Orleans. And she said, you bitch. And I said, hey, I'll be back soon, sweetie. I'm with Mike D. Just put the pins on the counter. Knowledge. So she told me they came out pretty well. Knowledge. So they came in today. So when I get back into town, I'll be shipping those out. And then we have another pin that I'm hoping to do. It's taken a little bit more work, but I will tell you, I'll give you a clue for those listeners that have bought pins and didn't care. It is a film. It's based off a film. Kind of a women empowerment film with a woman with a gun, and hopefully that will come.
Come on, Brad! Jesus fucking Christ! Like,
is that too easy?
It's too easy. Jodie Foster and the Brave One, bro.
Shit,
of course that's what
you
it
got
fucking
it,
is.
Man.
You fucking gave it away, you dumb motherfucker.
So, Dustin was a huge Jodie Foster fan, and he wanted to do a Jodie Foster pin because no Jodie Foster pins exist, and we're doing a break.
Well, he wanted to do a flight plan. He wanted to do flight plan, but then you were like, no, we can't do the fucking triple-decker plane.
Right, right. Yeah. So we're doing the Brave One, yeah. So I hope people enjoy that.
All right, baby. Great. Where can we get those? Give us the website. I want to buy them. I already bought them. I want to buy them again.
Yeah, you haven't bought them. You can go to Scream.
You piece of shit. No, stop. You can edit this out. I fucking bought them. I haven't bought the Possession one yet, but that's on the fucking list. I want to make sure that you did limited edition of those. You only have 50 of them, Brad. Like, I want to make sure that the fans, like Duddy's peoples, get them. You know. So I order 4 or 5 at a time, so I don't want to take them all up.
So you can go to thescreamcast.com. It will direct you to a site called Screaming Threads. It's a big cartel site where you can get the other pins there. Some other stuff is coming soon, and hopefully we'll be getting those out to you soon. But right now I'm relaxing in New Orleans with my buddy Mike. Heading out to LA in about a week.
We're going to eat some... Yeah. We're going to eat some hush puppies. We're going to go over to the big fat motherfucking Arby's. Get ourselves some beef and cheddar on that motherfucking onion bun. Put 1 pack of horsey sauce. 1 pack of Arby sauce. And you know what, motherfucker? I'm feeling a little tingly in my dicky. I might put 2 packs of horsey sauce because I said I was going to do that earlier. Look, next week we are watching and talking about Blonde Death. We are watching and talking about Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. Be ready for those. Fucking order them on Amazon. Go down to your local record store. Find a used copy. Beat up your cool friend that has that shit and take it from him and give it back and also apologize and buy him like a Diet Dr. Pepper and some Totino's like pizza rolls. I don't fucking know.
Stop.
But find a way to watch
fucking
the fucking
diet
movies.
soda. What's up with you and diet soda all of a sudden?
I'm kicking heroin, bro. I need my aspartame. All right. So, for Brad from the back to the middle and around again, Henderson, this is Mike D telling you, begging you, pleading with you, go to your fucking library and stop the fucking blood cults. You piece of shit, bitch. Good night.